Well, thank you. We're here to present Project 100, which is at the Trinity College campus just up the road, and it's sited on the lands of the Kulin Nations. So Project 100 reimagines an underutilised corner of the campus, and its primary purpose is to increase the residential student population of Trinity by 100 rooms from 300 original residential rooms, and it includes with it communal, social and study spaces. So through a detailed engagement and briefing process, key themes emerged. Fostering community and culture was key. It was interesting, the Dean right at the outset said for him the community, sense of community sat even above the physical setting, and the students were very keen to tell us about the strong culture within Trinity and the importance that they all know each other and something about each other. We were also interested in the use of architectural landscape to trace the prior layers of occupation and memory on the site, as well as shaping the three-dimensional spaces beyond. So we're really interested in how we could draw the landscapes out beyond the building and reconnect into the campus networks. And importantly, placing sustainability at the centre, so thinking about how this building would work for the campus as part of a resilient future. So the Project 100 is just a 2 or 3 minute walk from where we stand in the northeast corner of Trinity College, which sits, as you're probably aware, in the sweep of the Melbourne University residential colleges. At 5 levels, the building is one of the tallest on campus, but with careful manipulation of ground levels and siting of the buildings with assessment of key views, we maintained sensitive heritage skyline views from within Trinity but also beyond to adjoining Ormond College. 2 linear accommodation wings, the outline of the new building is shown in red, hinge around the corner of the site and frame a contemporary courtyard space which draws that connection back to the Oxbridge model of the campus. Legible pathways then connect a sequence of open spaces and provides access to the adjacent sports fields and the remnant River Red Gums. However, at the ground plane, our strategies departed from precedent, where we did away, if you like, from the quadrangle colonnades and walled enclosures, and these were eliminated in favour of a more open and complex relationship with the landscape. So this aerial view shows how the building relates to its neighbouring heritage buildings and open spaces. The very elaborate roof lines afford rich views from within the upper residential levels. We collaborated very closely with Mark Jacques from Openwork, with landscape becoming a key part of organising the new works. Importantly, the grade changes created rooms or spatial separations and ability to have occupied edges. We had a very strong inside-out approach, particularly between the larger communal spaces, such as the junior common room, which sits at the south there, and was conceived more as a separate garden pavilion enveloped in the canopy of a mature oak tree. So the buildings with their own cultural significance are actually demolished to make way for the new works. So we felt it was important to salvage some of these building materials for reuse in the landscape and the new works to provide a link between the old and the new. We also looked at the landscape for the new feature courtyard walls as a reinterpretation of the parasitic planting that's characteristic around the campus. So these materials were generally deployed in the zones from which they were originally removed. They include sandstone, brickwork and slate tiles, which reappear in feature paving and seating, in battered gabion walls, courtyard walls and garden walls.
Project 100 embraces the civic dimensions of architecture, its role in shaping the public realm and adding to the existing network of campus spaces. The building facades are intended to provide a calm and respectful backdrop to the life of the college, and like the landscape, capture and reflect traces of their heritage context. The neo-Gothic and arts and crafts era campus buildings provide strong formal cues that inform our design. Strong vertical buttressing, brick corbelling and steeply pitched roofs and spires. Gothic arched openings and diamond cut glass add distinctive angular geometries. The materiality of the campus is also a key reference point. Traditional split bricks, stonework and fine steel framed windows dominate the palette. The 3 different conditions of our facades, solid, glazed operable are arranged in vertically organised modular panels of locally made whole bricks, frameless glass and aluminium luted screens. Great care was taken to combine these three finishes into a flush, subtly pleated surface. As a backdrop to the new courtyard, the calm modular facades read as textured surfaces, subtly disrupted by horizontal datums that rise and fall with the landscape, and glazed breakouts corresponding to community or communal spaces. The folded facades may be read both as a formal reference to context and an expression of the internal amenity offered by the projecting window seats of individual rooms. Completing the southern boundary of the new courtyard, the junior common room matches the old kitchens building in scale and alignment. But the glassy pavilion replaces the adjacent ivy-coloured brick wall with fine diagonal planting guides intended to create a green screen, mediating views to and from the common room. The eastern facade defines a new interactive edge to the University Oval in a boldly vertical style.
So it was important for us to work out how to break down that 100 student cohort more into comfortable family cohorts. So there's 25 rooms per level. Each has breakout spaces and floor lounges as well as a tutor room for strong pastoral support. And these lounges were deliberately located near vehicle circulation because the students told us that there needed to be good visibility and that they get used when they're on their natural journey through the building. The detailed floor plan just indicates the very high level of access to daylight and natural ventilation. The central lift and stairs treated as a breezeway, and only the enclosed floor lounges are air conditioned. This is a typical room employing very home-like finishes and framing of those dramatic views. And then the floor lounges again scaled to give a residential quality and again located with expansive views. The ESD strategy was very important. We worked with Stantec to develop a framework focusing on thermal comfort. Featured a geothermal system which had 30 or 75 metre deep bores which provide the heating and cooling for the building. The residential scaling of the lobby features the central stair and the louvered breezeway, and this connects directly into the study commons. So the higher ceiling here is accommodated through that lowered ground plane. The structural columns are minimised and internalised, and there's extensive glazing on both sides of the space so that the ground plane is allowed to flow through and under the building. The junior common room, the lower level extends directly onto a large deck and lawn, and the interiors are in sharp contrast to the Chesterfield sofas and the dark timbers of the original junior common room. The upper lounge space maximises that relationship to the oak tree canopy, and it flows onto an external terrace space which overlooks the sports fields. So in closing, our feeling was that Project 100 really reinforced the college's vision to create an enriching and supportive environment, which is really to enable their young adults to create meaningful connections and to go out and make positive change in the world.